In this video, continuing with the little series I got going this weekend, and there will be some more videos related to it. Guard duty. What is it? Basically, you are on watch to prevent bad things from happening. Those bad things could be damage to equipment, it could be theft, pilferage, could be attack. It could also be someone who something has gone bad with their personal situation. They are overwhelmed emotionally, not thinking logically, and they decide to off themselves. So guards have to keep watch for that stuff also. Now, there are, depending on what you look at for the source, either 2 or 3 types of guard duty. There is interior and there is exterior. The third one that you will find listed at some locations is perimeter. And they differentiate the difference. Perimeter is obviously on the perimeter of camp, and the interior is farther back. It's inside the perimeter. But on other sources, they consider perimeter and interior to be the same thing. Your exterior patrols are exterior guard duty is going to be your LPOPs, any security patrols in the immediate area, and any ambushes that would be set up on likely avenues of enemy approach, say within 500 to 1,000 meters of your encampment. Back past that, you're on a basic combat mission. Now, of the duties you have as for guard duty, you typically have 2 styles. You have stationary and roving. Stationary, you're in a set location, like an LPOP, like on an ambush, or inside a bunker or guard tower, guard shack. In a set location, you do not leave that location during your shift. Roving is exactly that. You're moving back and forth. You can be assigned a part of the perimeter. You're told you got to go from here to here and then back and forth constantly during your shift. You can stop once in a while if you have to check something out, but you need to keep moving back and forth. And if you're on a roving guard, every so many steps, you stop for a second, look behind you, scan behind you. And if you hear something behind you, check. More than likely, you'll hear them as they're moving past you. So what I always did when I was on rover, because rover was the most common, if I'm moving this direction, I hear something, I stop, I look back, I automatically scan the inside of the perimeter first, because more than likely it was someone coming in from the outside waiting for me to get past, and then they moved into the perimeter. Now you have, as part of a guard duty each shift, you will have what is called the sergeant of the guard. This is the person who is in charge of the guards during that shift. He could be in charge for half the night, the full night. It's always different with each unit. You also have what's called, and this is not really common, it does happen once in a while, someone called a supernumerary. This is a person who will be co-located with the sergeant of the guard. The sergeant of the guard will typically be located at a headquarters position where he can monitor the radios and that, or he'll be at a set position on the perimeter. He could be located with the QRF. He has to be located in a spot where he has communications. The supernumerary would be with him. The supernumerary is a person who's used to rotate out other people. So if we have to rotate people out for chow, the supernumerary goes out, takes the place of the one person. The one person goes, gets their food, eats, takes a leak, whatever it is, and then comes back. Then the supernumerary returns to where he's supposed to, or he rotates the next person on the list. Now, when you start guard duty, there are certain things that will be required. Each guard must know their challenge and password. I still have to do a video on this. It's probably not going to be this weekend, maybe next weekend. How challenge and password works. Someone approaches, you give the challenge, they give the password. If it's not the proper password, you'll have the procedures on how to proceed from there. If they have the password, you'll let them through after you verify that they are who they say they are. They also need to know something that's called a parole word. This is not that common. I didn't have them that much. That's more of a in the United States guard duty thing. The parole word is a word that is given to those that are authorized to inspect the guards. So if someone comes up, they give the parole word. That guard then answers that person's questions fully and gives them the challenge and password, lets them inspect their weapon, gives them a full report, whatever it is that they're requesting, but the guard is not allowed to leave his guard post. So that inspector cannot come up, give the parole word, and then say, you need to come with me over here. No, that guard still has to maintain their post or maintain their roving shift until properly relieved. They also need to know the standard operating procedures. How do they react? If they hear something out on the perimeter, do they automatically fire at it? Do they set off the claymores? Do they fire a flare? What are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to call it in? You know, what are the set procedures for the position there for that base? And then also you have your special orders, orders that are specific to that post, like you're on gate guard. You'll have a little bit different orders than the people that are watching out other locations on the perimeter. So those are the special orders specific for that location. You also need to be given special equipment. That special equipment, as examples, it could be night vision, it could be sound amplifying headsets, it could be flare launchers or hand flares, could be smoke grenades. It could be a crew-served weapon, which is at that position where you rotate it, you swap it out from one guard shift to the next. And every guard must know their general orders by heart. There are essentially two types, the Marine Corps version and the Army version. I'm just going to give you the Army version here. You can look them up. They're posted all over online. This is something that if you're going to basic training, you need to learn this because you will get asked this at any given time. There is only 3 general orders. First general order, I will guard everything within the limits of my post and quit my post only when properly relieved. Pretty straightforward. You do not leave your position until someone comes up and replaces you, and then that person stays at that post until they are relieved. Second general order, I will obey my special orders and perform all my duties in a military manner. You need to be professional. No sleeping on guard duty. No smoking pot. No drinking. No screwing around. No stress relieving activities. You're on guard duty. People's lives are in your hands. Third general order, I will report violations of my special orders, emergencies, and anything not covered in my instructions to the commander of the relief. The commander of the relief is the person that brings the replacement guards up to your position. Sometimes the commander of the relief will just be back at the headquarters wherever the sergeant of the guard is because they're relieving the sergeant of the guard. Sometimes they'll come out and they'll be with the guards and swap them out at each position. When I was overseas, when we were pulling guard duty, we would have a Humvee that would come by the guard tower or the post we were at. Commander of the relief was with them, drop off the replacements, would pick us up, we jump on the Humvee and we'd get taken back in for end of shift. And then once we got back, we would give a quick update as to what we seen during our shift, if anything. Guard duty is pretty simple. It can be long, it can be boring, but there's a reason for it. You're trying to keep bad things happening to your people. You're trying to keep other people from stealing your shit, stealing your stuff, or damaging your stuff. So guess what? Guard duty must be done around the clock, 24 hours a day. Day, night, rain or shine, hot or cold. Your guards must always be on duty. The length of the guard shift will be determined by the number of personnel and the number of hours that that post must be covered. And that is another video, which I will work on right after this. Now, for all my engineer brothers and the Patriot and militia movements, always remember, essayons.